All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. Morning, guys. All the familiar faces. How we doing? I will not be in the city, Rob. Just more with the family over on Long Island. No city trip this year. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. Make a few adjustments here. Yeah. Okay, we're good. Okay, good morning. Welcome, welcome. So, today, some upside and some meaningful holds and some meaningful reclaims. Some things to be paying attention to. The pullbacks that we've been looking for, back to that SPY 674, back to that daily 20, daily 50, filling the gap on the SPX, daily 20, daily 50 SPX, daily 20, daily 50 ES, and daily 100 on the NASDAQ. So some very interesting pullbacks over the last few days. And I'm optimistic, as I have been, on pullback longs being opportunities. Truly am. So very intrigued by today. I think some really interesting setups out there. Should, if things stick, should be looking pretty good this morning so far. We'll see how the morning starts. But as of right now, some very key spots that I want to point out to you guys that I would be paying attention to. There's still, some levels above that we need to get above and reclaim above. So we are definitely still cautious of some spots to the upside, but also some very meaningful reclaims and holds that I would not discount for right now. So want to point that out to you guys today, get you ready for the trading day the best I can, as we always do. And today, not much economic data, but tomorrow we do have CPI, so that will be very important. Also, Tesla, obviously, all-time highs. That was our game plan. Tesla to all-time highs. After that, 414.50 reclaim. You guys remember 414.50? That was that 2021 high. We've been talking about that level for months now. Once we got above that level, back early December, late November, that was it. Since that point, Tesla outperformance and welcome to all-time highs. So congratulations to you shareholders out there. Beautiful sight. Love to see it. Caught about 70% of the move. Missed the last little run up here over the last few days, but overall a nice trade over the last few weeks. So congratulations to the Tesla outperformance and the Tesla shareholders. Love to see it. Love to see it. What else? What else besides Tesla? That's really the main story, right? Tesla is really the only one that's really just gone. If I can remember from anything. I mean, obviously besides some Dow names, but yeah, Tesla's the main juicer. And interesting spots for SMH. A lot of interesting spots. So let's jump right into it. If you guys could, please press that like button before we get started. Chef, congratulations on Tesla, man. I know a big Tesla fan, so GG's, Chef. Love it. Yeah, let's get started. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Help me continue to grow the live stream, grow the channel. And here we go. So first things first, economic calendar. Let's go ahead and pull that up. I got to do this. 1 second. Live stream. There we go. And bring that down a little bit. All right. So, first things first, economic calendar, really nothing on the docket today. Yeah, nothing to really talk about. So a couple FOMC members speaking today. Tomorrow, CPI 830. That's your big event. Tomorrow, CPI 830. So just be aware of that, okay? The only other thing I want to point out is MU. MU has earnings tonight, which will be an important earnings event for the semiconductors. That is another thing to watch. So CPI tomorrow, MU earnings tonight, okay? Those are the two big things. A couple other headlines. Netflix getting a sort of urging investors to, or not actually Netflix, it's Warner Bros. Warner Bros. Is urging investors to not accept and to reject the Paramount offer. Was reading a little bit about it today, just saying how there's holes in the deal and just they don't like it. Let's just put it at that. They don't like the deal. Even though it's for more money, they don't like the deal. They think it's better for investors to accept the Netflix offer. So that's some interesting news that came out overnight last night. Netflix did get a little bit of a pop off that. Interesting. We'll see if it can get above this key level, which we've been waiting on. That's another thing. The other thing to be watching, which is surprising, man, is weed stocks. They're back. Cureleaf, which is a main... this is the one I see the most. Cureleaf is like the most prominent, especially in Florida and a lot of other places. I'd assume Cureleaf is definitely a big player, I'd say. Has had a nice recent run. Weed stocks are getting some momentum, and the reason for that is that you are seeing the Trump administration expected to sign an order moving to reclassify cannabis and open up medical potential. So the government's on the side of weed potentially. So if that's the case, yeah, I mean, you guys could look for some juice in these names. Tilray is one. CGC is one. I'd probably stay away from CGC, but that may have the biggest penny stock explosion potential. Cureleaf is an interesting one. I'm sure there's many other. I think there's probably weed ETFs. This is a cannabis ETF. You could just look for that, right? If you want to just stay away from individual names and play more of an ETF style trade. Weed, WEED, another one to maybe be a better watch. Let's see what is in weed. Let me see what the holdings are in weed ETF. Weed, nice. Okay, so Cureleaf is actually Cureleaf is its top holding. Interesting. Yeah, so Cureleaf is its top holding, which is CURLF. That's its top holding. But this is probably a safer bet if you want to go down this road. That's up to you. Invest at your own discretion. But just know that they are getting some life, okay? They are getting some life. So just know that. That's all I wanted to point out today. Okay. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into, and where I want to start today, actually, you know what? I'll wait for some more people to jump in before we start today, because I'll wait for the meat and potatoes once more people jump in. Where we'll start today is the NASDAQ futures, and I want to go ahead and talk about what you have done here on the NASDAQ futures. So the most important thing on the NASDAQ futures is that you have reclaimed the Friday low. You have reclaimed this low right here at 25,378, and you have held above the Monday low at 25,285. So you can see right here, these lows right here, you have reclaimed them, held above them all afternoon yesterday, and you are pushing to the upside off that level now. So this is a very important reclaim on the NASDAQ futures and something I would absolutely be paying attention to. If you can now create a higher low here, if you do pull back today, if you can hold this and create a higher low, that is a very good start of a potential flip in this structure. All right, so you are structuring lower. This was your, structure, 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 and you are now flipping back over these structure lows, which is a very important move on the NASDAQ, and I would be paying attention to see if that holds. Now, we have clearly seen where the market has looked good, looked bad, and then reversed extremely quickly. So where you need to be careful is if you lose the Monday low. If you fail back under that Monday low, then this entire build that looks like it's trying to move higher will fail. And that is the key. You cannot fail back under this Monday low. If you fail back under this low, that is no bueno for the bulls, and that is a must hold if this wants to start to build itself back higher. Very important, must hold Monday's lows. Put it on your charts. Make sure you're watching it. That is very, very key. Your pullback came into the 25,000 level and back into the daily 100 SMA, which is a fantastic watch for the downside to stop and to hold at that daily 100. There are still levels above on the NASDAQ futures, as you can clearly see here. We still have the daily 20, we still have the daily 50, and we very clearly still have this Thursday low a day. We have this Thursday low, which was our Monday high, and we are still well below that level. So we still need to be careful of that being a rejection point. That is very important to pay attention to. We need to be careful of right here. If the NASDAQ has strength today and actually does reclaim this level, I think that is where your real rally starts. If you really start to hold above that Monday high, if you get above that Thursday low, if you make a new high on the week over the Monday high, that is an extremely bullish move, and I would be paying very close attention to see if that happens. If that does, I would have full confidence that this market is trying to move back to the highs. That is a very, very, very important spot. So most important spot of the rest of the week is right here, hands down. If you want to see upside, you need to hold this Friday low, and you definitely need to hold this Monday low. You need to see demand step in between those lows. You cannot make new lows in the week, and you definitely can't lose the Monday low. So that is very, very key. We might get a little bit of consolidation within this zone today as we approach CPI tomorrow. But as long as you maintain that Monday low, I think you are very good in terms of the structuring back to the upside type move. Obviously, with still some key supplies above to be careful of. Okay? Sid, happy Wednesday. Please have a coffee from me and the community. Appreciate all you do. Lord knows I need this. Learning, reading, price action from you during live streams have been valuable. Appreciate that, Sid. Thank you, man. That's very kind. It's a great way to start the Wednesday morning. Appreciate that, Sid. Thank you. So that's that on the NASDAQ futures. Let's jump over to the S&P 500, and I want to show you what's going on here on the S&P 500, and I want you to pay attention to what is going on off this daily 20, daily 50, and the fact that you have now reclaimed these previous highs. So here on the S&P 500 futures, you have previous highs that we've been talking about, and you have this high right here. So it's really been this whole zone. Let me go ahead and get this fixed real quick. So anywhere between these 68.45 highs here and this 68.64 high here. Let me go ahead and actually just adjust that slightly. I'll show you why these levels were a little bit different. Let me just get that for you for now. So we had this, right? 68.45 to 68.63, which is these highs here to these highs here. We can see that those were some previous major highs. And you can see that that was the area that held very strong yesterday. Between 45 and 63, between the daily 50, daily 20, those are some key holds that stepped in yesterday. Okay? So now what I want to be watching here, now those are still very important levels, but what I want to be watching even closer here on the S&P is the lows from Friday and the lows from Monday. That is the key for me. Can you hold those lows? Can you stay back above the lows from those 2 days? 68.6150 to 68.6425. That is the low from Friday and the low from Monday. And you can see here in the overnight session, that is the exact zone that held right there. So what you need to see on the S&P 500 today is a very clear higher low above the lows right here and right here, which would lock out all of the shorts from underneath those two levels. If you can stay above the lows from Monday and the lows from Friday and turn that into a higher low, that is what you need to see for this market to continue higher. That is the very, very, very key spot. You also have the daily 20, daily 50 right below that area. So this entire zone continues to be a nice demand area. I would love to see a nice, beautiful, clean, and there's no noise, no drama hold above that level. That would be perfection for the upside continuation. I think that is very important that you have reclaimed those lows, as you can see this morning. Now, It looks like we're getting a little bit of a rejection around the 68.85 level, which is the lows from last Wednesday, last Thursday, last Wednesday, right around here. I think if you can flip north of that level, that is where you get your move back towards your 69.20, 69.30 area. But you can see, even right as we speak right now, you are still, I don't know what that candle is, but you are still failing this 68.85 level. Did we get news? 8.15? No, no news. 8.14. A little bit of a drama candle there. Not sure what that is. If you guys see anything, let me know. But 68.85 is the key spot. I want to see a break above that. You can see that this is this high right here, this high right here, this high right here. I would love to see us get back above that to be more confident today. I would also really want to see us maintain these lows. This is so crucial to me. The Friday and Monday low is really, in my opinion, the most crucial level of today. Okay? If we fail back under that, things get shaky again. Really, they do. It's not as clean as you want it to be. That's where you want it to see it hold. Where'd the NASDAQ just pull back to? Okay, not quite back. We're still well above these lows, so that is the key spot. Okay, SPY. So let's go ahead and show you, I want to go ahead and show you what you just did on the SPY. This is really the cleanest thing that I want to point out today, and really just sort of get you the bigger picture. Keep your mind here on the bigger picture. I still believe, and we've been talking about this level for quite some time, guys, on this live stream, and I still believe in this level, and I'm still going to be a risk taker off this level, right? Simply put. So over the last few weeks on this live stream, pretty much since this straight up move, we have talked about the pullback potential to the 674 and to this major daily high, right? We have talked about how the market may want to pull back to these highs, pull back to these highs, pull back to these highs. Get us a pullback and then see if these highs can formulate a new hold, right? That's sort of been the key thing that I've been watching on the market. And so we can see right here on the 4-hour chart, we have this 4-hour high, we have these 4-hour highs, we have these 4-hour highs, and these 4-hour highs, which we just got a pullback to over the last few trading days. We can see now that you are starting to see this pullback, flashbang, we're starting to get this pullback towards the daily 20, daily 50, and towards these previous highs. This to me is an opportunity. Right? Simply put, we've been waiting for this pullback. The pullback has happened. We've been talking about 674 for about 2 weeks now on this live stream, talking about how we might want to see a pullback to that 674 level. And that really is the level that we have come back down to and started to at least show some holds at. So there's your 674. Here's your daily 20, daily 50. This is really where the bulls need to fight. If we do not hold above this zone, then it's likely more downside, right? Likely more downside. That is really the key. So if you look at this chart, you can see our 676 to 674 demand. We have our daily 20, daily 50, which held strong yesterday. We're pushing higher off that. And the key today for me is to see if we can create higher lows. Can we create a higher low at the Friday low? Can we create a higher low at the Monday low? Can we stay above that level today? Right now, it looks like you're going to come down and test it. So you have lows, lows, highs, and can that stay true today? Can this stay true today? If it does not, then you are right back under those lows and you are right back into the shit zone. So that would really be quite an annoying move if that happens, but let's see, right? A little bit of panic here in the pre-market. Looks like it's due to Oracle. Oracle big drop. A little bit of Oracle news maybe. Is it Oracle news? Oracle's $10 billion data center in limbo after Blue Owl funding stock talks stall. Okay, so Oracle continues to get hit by just some sort of news events. SPY, 670. 679.17, 679.25. Monday's lows, Friday's lows, right there. That's your spot. Okay? QQQ. QQQ, we can see right here, has reclaimed the previous 4-hour highs. And we came back down to our 606 level yesterday. Our 606 level was the Monday retest. So if you guys recall the Monday retest, so let me go ahead and zoom in here. If you guys recall our analysis, we talked about this straight up move here, right? Between Monday's highs and that 612, 613 area. If you recall, we talked about how this area could be a nice straight down action, which we absolutely got straight down there. We moved lower to the Monday high, which is right here at 606. And yesterday, that 606 level did a pretty damn good job of maintaining price action. So that's a good 606 spot on the QQQ. Now today, what I would like to see happen for the upside to continue would be to see the market, see the QQQ hold above. Let me go ahead and make this more clear for you. I would like to see the QQQ hold above these highs here and these lows. Let me go ahead and grab that low, which you can see it's failing back under right now. Those highs there at 613.18 to the lows of Friday, which is right there. So that's between 613 and 611.36. I would love to see the QQQ maintain that spot right there. If we can hold these Friday's lows, if we can maintain that 613.18, that would be the area I would look for the QQQ to hold tight. But right now, it's a little bit under pressure as we speak, a little bit of a downside coming in, back to retest that zone. So this is going to be super important today. Now, what we can also see is we have the daily 20, daily 50 sitting right at that level today as well. So this is going to be a very important spot to be watching today. If we fail back under that Friday low, then you might be looking for a move back down to that Monday low. And that Monday low is right down here, which is right around that 609.32, which we can see did hold in the overnight session last night. So you have that Monday low here at 609.32. All right. You have that Friday low at 611.36, which is another big spot, right? And then you have that 613.18, which is the big previous high right here, 613.18. So all inside that area, I would love to see this QQQ maintain within here. Would be very, very important for me. Okay? Now, you still have upside, right? You still have upside right here. 618, 617. I'm sorry, you still have upside supply. You have Thursday's lows, you have this Friday rejection, and you have the Monday high, which is absolutely still sitting up here, and that is still an area of potential failure if we get up to it. So please be aware of that as well. So the job today for the bulls would be to maintain some of these previous lows. That's really the key for me. If you fail back under them, then it's really not as interesting. But for now, this is going to be that area to be watching. If we go over to the SPX, the one thing I do like that the SPX did yesterday is it filled this gap, and you can see a very nice daily candle off this demand here. So here's your SPX. You had a gap to fill right here between the close of this candle. So right here, you had a gap to fill from the close of this candle to the pretty much, I guess you can call it low of this candle, however you want to play it. It could be between the gaps, but you basically had a gap right there. Right in that general area, you had a gap on the SPX. Between the close and the open, right here, you have your gap on the SPX, which yesterday, it did go ahead and filled, right? It did go ahead and fill. You got your fill of that gap on the SPX yesterday. Now, on the 4-hour chart, we can see that we filled that gap, and we also pulled back to these previous highs, and there is your result of that pullback off the daily 20, daily 50. So it looks good to me, for now at least, that that could be a spot where the SPX tries to hold and tries to push higher. That is the spot that you really need to see maintain if you want to get the upside towards end of year. That is really the must-hold spot. 67.62 is this exact high. 67.64, right in there is really the key spot. And you can see that that really is the exact low that stepped in yesterday on the SPX off the daily 50 SMA. So we will see, right, if that holds. And you can see right now as we speak, there is your reaction off 68.64. So that is truly the type of reaction that you need to see happen. Right? There's your level as we speak off 68.64. That is exactly the spot that you need to see hold. Daily 20, this consolidation, 68.64, that is a must-hold spot. On the SPY, that is right at that 679.25. On the NASDAQ, your Friday low. On the QQQ, your 613 to Friday low area here, right? So that's, you're already seeing a test of the level that I think must hold. On the ES, I think it's about as clear as it gets. You cannot fail these lows. This, in my opinion, is a must hold today. Must hold. Right there. Very clear. That keeps the structure to the upside. You fail back under these lows, you fail back into this area here, which could bring you back down to the 68.13 demand low. So that's it, right? You're seeing a taste of it already this morning. You just got a taste of that level as we speak, right there. So there you go, right? The game plan is now pretty clear. We've just seen in front of our eyes the test of that level, the reaction so far, and how it shows how important that's going to be, right? If you now fail this today, I think you're looking downside, okay? So keep an eye on that spot on the S&P 500 futures, the daily 20, and the Monday and Friday low, all right? Okay, that's that. Let's continue. SMH. If we go out to the daily chart, the SMH has pulled back to our 347, 351 level. We can see right here, previous highs, and there's your pullback on the SMH after this big move to the upside, right? A pretty clean retracement from the lows to the highs of around the 50% retracement, right? 50% retracement of this move, retesting these previous highs and the daily 20, daily 50. I mean, in terms of textbook analysis or like a textbook move, that is a textbook hold, right? Now, that doesn't mean the market's going to hold. That's just not what it means. However, this is where you definitely need to be paying attention, okay? Because this is a perfect 50% retracement of the move from the lows from back in November, right? Off the daily 100. You went straight up. You retraced 50% of the move. And that retracement of 50% is back into major previous highs and the daily 20, daily 50 demand. So very interesting spot on the SMH. A very interesting spot here to see if this can maintain. We shall see. I think it's still early to just be going out and just loading the boat on semiconductors. But that is absolutely a spot that should be paid attention to. Okay? All right. IWM, good holds. I'm interested to see if the IWM comes back as strong as others, right? Is the IWM maybe, does some money rotate out of the IWM back into other names? We'll see. But for now, IWM, good holds, 248.50, 250 zone, previous highs here, previous lows here. That is the hold you want to see happen. So let's see. Did the S&P, how's it doing? Is it still holding there? It's just sitting right at it. Okay. Dow Jones. Ooh. Oh, wow. Okay. We had this level. Look at this. What level is this? Yeah. Dow Jones, these 4-hour highs. Looks like we marked these out yesterday. Look at that right there. 48,546, 48,500. That was our zone we created on the Dow. So that's a good hold as well on the Dow. That's what you want to see hold there. IBIT. So the crypto move. We saw yesterday, on Monday, crypto failed that bear flag, moved lower. Yesterday, we pushed back into 50 and rejected. And 50 is the level we need to reclaim. So very clearly, for Bitcoin to find strength, you need 50 to get back higher. You need to get a reclaim back above 50. That is a must. So if you're looking at stocks like Coinbase, like MicroStrategy, like Circle, right? Some of these Bitcoin proxy, Ethereum proxy names, Hood even, you need this to reclaim. If you get a 50 reclaim on IBIT, if you get Bitcoin futures to get back above this 88,600 level, that is the move you need for crypto to find strength again. For now, it is actually turning it into a rejection, so you need to be careful of that failing. Okay? ES looks like it is bouncing off this low. Yes, it is. Okay, so that is really what you need to see happen. Just continuing to confirm that as we go. Very clear spot. Very clear spot. Okay, that's that. Let's continue. So let's go into some individual equities. Before I do that, if you guys could, please press that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. 2,300 people here, 800 likes, not bad. Let's get to 1,000. And let's talk about Teslita. So Tesla, big squeeze yesterday into the all-time highs. Overnight, pushing higher into 496, almost tapping that $500 level. I would assume you could look for some pullbacks today on Tesla. All-time high is probably going to be a little bit tough. This is your all-time high level at 488.54. I would love a little pullback here to 481, 480. That would be the juice for me. The level that held again yesterday was what? It was 474. If you guys remember, we had our 474 level, and once again, 474 is the reason that Tesla holds and squeezes higher intraday. So 474 on the intraday yesterday, right here, was the level that held, right? Look at this. 474 was your pullback, long, and explosion move off that 474 spot. So that is still a very important level. Today, I would love to see the higher low get built at 480, 481. These highs from Monday, these highs from Tuesday, and a pullback long here would really be the spot to look for some new entry points. That would be very, very nice. All-time highs, obviously going to be a little bit tricky up there. It's all-time highs. If we can get back above it, that's great, right? I would definitely consider that a watch, but I would also very much like the pullback to 480, 481. Nvidia and AMD are still no interest to me. They're just not stocks that are. I mean, here's your Nvidia intraday chart yesterday, right? It's just not interesting. It's just not interesting. So again, Nvidia just doesn't have the juice like it once did. Again, I'm not going to look to trade it. Broadcom is interesting for the comeback move. Semis need to find some strength. You know, we have the leaps on this one, and I would definitely consider adding into that leap once I see this start to find some recovery. Daily 100, something to be cautious of. And of course, MU has earnings tonight, which is very important. What does MU do for the semis today? MU has been a monster stock. It's been probably one of the best comeback semiconductor names in terms of percentage point gains. I would actually beg that is probably the highest percentage point gain since April. So since April, MU is up 314%. So that's quite a bit heading into earnings. Broadcom is up 200% heading from April. NVIDIA actually not bad either, to be quite honest. NVIDIA up 143%. What else has been strong? I mean, those are really the top ones. ASML from April has been pretty massive. That looks to be right around 100%. But in terms of big semiconductors, I think MU is the top percent gainer since April. 330%. From 64 to 264, over $200 a share. So pretty massive move on MU. Definitely warrants a very good earnings, right? I mean, if you are up 200% since April, you better come out with a pretty good earnings report, right? So I'm not going to be interested in playing earnings on MU. Just know that it's up a shitload into this earnings. It's been great. A pullback is an opportunity. Remember that. And that's about it, right? Good luck if you're trading through it. Good luck for the shareholders. But for now, just let earnings pass by in my book. Okay? All right. So let's move on from the semiconductors. Let's move into some equity, some large cap, big cap tech names. Well, I guess ASML, you should watch at the daily 20 as well. But let's continue. Google. Definitely eyes on Google the rest of the year. Over the next few weeks, I definitely want to keep an eye on what Google's up to. Google has pulled back to fill this gap, which we've been talking about. It's back at that 304 demand, which again holds very tight yesterday, right? 304 defends extremely strong yesterday, even in the midst, our favorite word, in the midst of a aggressive downside move. 304 says no sir, right? So that 304 spot is very big. I am simply waiting for this downside sort of grind lower to finish and waiting for the reclaim of 314. I think that is a very key reclaim spot. If you can flip back over 314, flip back over the daily 20 after filling this gap, I think that is a very much advantageous thing to be watching. Amazon, big move overnight. I'm not sure what the news was overnight. Last night, it just sort of ripped out of nowhere. If anyone saw the news last night, I'm not sure what it was. I don't think it's this news that came out this morning. Actually, it might have been. Yeah. Amazon in talks over $10 billion OpenAI move, investment in OpenAI. Okay, so that is possibly why you got that big rip on Amazon right around, what is that, like 8 o'clock at night? I don't know what that is. 2100 is 20 is 8. So right around 9 p.m. last night, you just got a rip on Amazon pretty much out of nowhere. That, I guess, is that news there. It's still not where you want it to be to long. You still want this over 228. So I would just set an alert over 228. I think that's a good watch. Apple. So is Apple doing the same game that it's done this entire uptrending move, right? What is the game Apple has played this entire uptrend? Every slip below the daily 20 turned into a reclaim and a rip. So you have a slip under the daily 20, reclaiming and ripping. Under the daily 20, reclaiming and ripping. So here you go again. Apple has slipped underneath the daily 20 SMA between the daily 20 and daily 50, right? So you see this area between the daily 20, daily 50. You've done it again, right? You've slipped below the 20. You're still above the 50. Can you reclaim it, and can you get another push to the upside? That's something I would definitely be watching here. Now, of course, this could just be a retest rejection, so be careful of that as well, all right? Retest rejection on Apple, turning these previous lows into rejections is very possible. So please be aware of that. But if Apple does find strength, reclaims the daily 20, and holds back above it, that is the same thing that Apple's been doing this entire move higher since July. All right, so pretty much since July, you have gotten this uptrend, which you can see slightly broke here. So a little bit of a concern, I guess you could say. But we need to get back over 277, 276. Meta had a hell of a day yesterday. The leaps are still looking very good in my book. Really nice daily candle off our 640 demand. That's exactly what we wanted to see, right? We got a big gap up. We knew that gap up wasn't going to stick. We talked about that the same day. We said, we just can't expect this type of a gap to stick in this market. What did we do? We pulled back to fill that gap, back to the 640 spot, back to the daily 20, uptrending daily 20 SMA now, right? Meta 20 SMA went from downtrending daily 20 to uptrending daily 20. So a very nice hold back above that. I think that's important. We'll have to see if Meta can continue this push. We'll have to see if it can continue to maintain this demand. For now, I'd like to see Meta get back above this daily 50, daily 200. I'm not so much interested in short-term trading Meta. You guys know that I just have those 2027 leaps, and I'm just sitting on them and just letting Meta do its thing. Microsoft is another one that is at these lows, this daily 200 low, right? At that daily 200 major low down there, 468, something to be, continue to watch down there as well. Palantir, good looking setup. Can the market help it, right? Or is the market going to lose it? That's, the ultimate question here. Again, in terms of Palantir individual setup, I quite like this hold. You can see Palantir is perfectly holding the 179, 183 area. A very nice consolidation right here above the daily 50. In my book, that looks like a great consolidation on the 4-hour chart. You definitely need to get back above the 190 level. If you clear out that 190, I think you would run to this 196, and you could see this start to really build higher. But it's very clear what needs to happen, right? Palantir has been holding this daily 50 perfectly for the last week, right? Sort of holding, 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 holding. Can you get that breakout move? Is there enough juice on this market to get that move? We'll see. But the holds are definitely holding. We're going to need to get over 190, though. We're going to need to get over 190. So I would set an alert at 190, and I would look to see if that gets a move. Hood, probably my favorite setup right now on the comeback name, for a comeback name. Depends if the market does well or not. Depends if that crypto strength can come back. That's obviously going to be the most important thing. But in terms of what Hood is doing on the short term, it's quite a nice look. You got Friday's lows. You got Friday's lows turning into lows yesterday, right? You have yourself a little inverse head and shoulder here. So what do you need for an inverse head and shoulder to play out? You need a break of the neckline. And for me, the neckline is right around this 122.50 to around this daily 20. That's really your neckline. If you can get it to break and hold back above this neckline, which is right here, that's where this really starts to get grooving. For now, it's still very susceptible to rejections at 122.50. What do you need to see stay true? You need to see Hood stay above 117.84. You need to see Hood stay above Friday's lows. That is a must hold. But in terms of the comeback, I think Hood is a great name. It's expanding into different markets. It's expanding into the what's that? What's the word? Where you bet on certain things. What the hell is it called? The prediction markets, right? So Hood continues, in my opinion, to be a very well-run company. Very popular name, really becoming a household name. So I like pullbacks on Hood as opportunity. I love where it pulled back to. This daily chart, you can see right here, Hood pulled back to this high, back to these lows, back to this 112, 113 area. That's a nice pullback on Hood. I love that it reclaimed the Friday lows right here. That's also very key. So I'm going to continue to watch Hood. I like this, this setup over 122.53. I think if you can get that, that's good stuff. So I would keep an eye on this one. Let's see what happened on Oracle. Let's take a peek. So Oracle, more bad news. It continues to get sort of peppered by just news that is affecting the stock on an intraday basis. Sort of a pre-market drop here. Still above the gap fill level. Maybe you need the full gap fill, right? 179.50. I really don't have much interest in terms of short-term trading Oracle. I am interested in this being a pullback opportunity, but maybe I need to wait a little bit to get more aggressive until some of this bad news sort of gets out of the way. But full gap fill 179.55, that could be a spot to watch. This stock continues to be one of my favorite trades on the market. WDC, Western Digital, continues to be a pullback long opportunity almost on a daily basis. I would be watching 174. That's my spot today on WDC right here. 174, 174, 174, 174. So that's a nice spot there. APP, definitely a nice watch. If you guys check out this daily, look at this daily chart on APP. Another stock that is creating a very controlled pullback, and all you need at this point is markets to say we're ready to go. That's really all you're waiting on here. APP, previous huge daily highs. I mean, as clear as can be here at 655, 660, right? Just massive daily highs. You pulled back right into that level yesterday. So, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better pullback on APP back to those daily highs. You really couldn't. You're seeing strength off of it. You can see yesterday you defended it very aggressively. So all you need now is a clear out of that Monday high. If you can clear out this Monday high, that really is what you need, right? If you can clear out this Monday high, I have an alert set. I think you got to look for that daily chart to set something up. I mean, it's just perfect. Now, you could warrant maybe a deeper pullback because of how aggressive this was straight to the upside, right? Maybe it needs a larger retracement. That is possible, right? That's only about not even a 38% retracement to this daily high. So maybe you need to dip down into that daily 50, daily 20 zone. That is a possibility. But for now, I would be watching to see what happens at those daily highs. Netflix, a little bit of a move, but still not quite to the point I want to see. To get interested, Netflix, to me, needs to get over 97.36. If you can clear that out, I like it. Circle with an incredible U-shaped recovery. I mean, just an absolute U. I was talking to the group yesterday. I don't think you could draw out a better U. I mean, it's just a like I can't even do it with my mouse. It's too. I mean, it's not a bad U. It's a pretty good U right there. I mean, that is about as U-shaped as you'll ever see a stock on Circle. So pretty wild recovery. Very good for the position that I hold. I still hold my Circle longs, and I was very pleased to see that happen yesterday. You did get a catalyst on this move. Visa takes another major step in stablecoin payment strategy. So that, I think, is what sent Circle higher. Very, very key there. And you can see the reclaim of these lows, in my opinion, is massively important. Here's your lows. Here's your lows. And look at that reclaim on Circle. Quite a perfect U-shaped recovery. So really good watch. Must watch, I'd say. Again, I'm going to continue to hold my position. I have no concerns with this Circle long. Quite like the hold over that 81, 40, 81, 82 area. Okay? I really like that. Eli Lilly, I think, is something you need to continue watching. The daily chart pullback right here. Look at the daily wick off the daily 20 yesterday. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Major triple top highs, 1030, previous rejection here, pullback hold, daily 20, and that demand level. I would say my only concern for Lilly would be if tech heats up, right? Does healthcare pull back? That's going to be my only concern. I don't think that is a necessity. I don't think that's a guarantee, but healthcare has been very strong. And if you do see maybe a little bit of tech outperformance, does a sector like healthcare maybe, take a little bit of a breather? I wouldn't say it fails, like aggressively drops, but if you get XLK outperformance, does XLV just sort of say, all right, I'm going to chill out for a little bit? If that happens, Lilly might chill out a little bit as well. But hey, it's a pretty damn perfect hold, and I would be watching that today. All right, so that's that. Let's see what the ES is doing. So the ES is pretty much holding our level to perfection right now. Man, I mean, you would love to see it happen. You'd love to see it happen. The market has been tough. The reads have been good, but sometimes they're a little bit sloppy, right? The price action has been a little bit sloppy. That is the exact hold that you want to see today at the Friday, Monday lows. It is happening right now as we watch live together. So that is truly the spot you need to see maintained today. If you fail that, I'd say markets flip bearish again. You can see on the NASDAQ futures, Friday's lows. There's your low holding. That's about as perfect as it gets right there. QQQ is maintaining right in our demand zone. And SPY is perfectly holding our Friday, Monday lows. So it's good stuff. It's good stuff, man. Like, this is, the type of situation that you try to be advantageous on. You try to be opportunistic on. But, of course, there's always risks at the end of the day. There's always risks at the end of the day. So, really nice. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be it for me today. If you guys want to join our trading community, make sure to check it out down below. Wednesday, I trade with our mentorship group, which we are taking applications for right now. So if you are interested, make sure to check out that down below as well. Wednesday, we'll have ADR in the community, trading live with you guys. So make sure to check that out. Hope you have a fantastic trading day. Some nice looks out there. That pullback long on SPX is very interesting to me. I would stay, focused on what this does here off the daily 20, daily 50. I think that is a very interesting pullback, and I think it is something to be paying attention to. That would be the words that I'd provide. You should be paying attention to it. Okay? All right, guys. Thank you again for all the support. Sid, again, thank you for the $10 donation. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.